twisted, crosswords puzzling yourself. I got your mind twisted. Unrealistic wavelength draining on your brain strength, inflicted crosswords puzzling your doubt, questioning your own mental health. Yeah, it's like a maze within itself. Yeah, check the grimy, slimy, criminal individuality, searching for the dark night, lurking in the shadows of the city. Hero with Jiggy, my crime committee, robbing every golf and piggy bank blind. Take a journey through the mind of a red line. Once again, it's the mind bender, three-time felony offender, demented, brain cemented, mixing the blender, illusion, mass confusion, question mark, clues in what, where, why, who's in, quiz, time to ask yourself who it is, shiesty be you know, underhanded biz, invaded brothers' wigs. Can I live? Corrupting, bringing on the misery and suffering. Pain you couldn't cure with the buffering. Rotating, ridiculous, rapid fire riddle. Back, get trapped in the middle of the red line. The red line. Observe if you will. I'm in my hideout in the back of the hill. I crack a ball, then I caught her by the mill. Co-defendants Johnny Blaze and Bobby Stills. We was blazing hot wheels. Turn the corner, you can hear the wheels squeal. On that ass fast was the Batmobile. I can tell by the demon on the grill. This was real. Alley cats screaming. I hear the trash can, garbage everywhere. Money flying out the bags and trying to escape. Hold on with the cape, or else he be headed upstate. It's the red blood. Speaking homicide, not a problem. You wanna talk genocide, not a problem. It's the red line.
We are live on a Sunday. How about that, ladies and gentlemen? My man Ty, who's not here right now, he made something special for us here. What do we got here?
A real nigga here.
Hey, is that man capping?
I'm cap, man.
He made
This
it.
is a
He
thing,
made
Rick.
it.
Think about this. Have I ever capped? Because technically, everything I say contains some type of truth. As long as there's a truth in there, is there really a cap?
I think.
Nah, you don't cap. You just like to aggravate people. Like I know you love to get under post skin. Those are funny times, man.
I catch post, man. When he fall, I wait for the right time to stump that brother out and run back into the corner.
Man, these dudes. Hit the like button when you come through here. Shout out to Merc, who's here. Videli Brierios.
Merc, you a bum?
Oh man, he's still calling Merc a bum.
Let me tell y'all, Merc has been excommunicated from the fighting game community, man. He's done the worst of the worst.
Oh man,
the worst treason your man could ever think of.
Oh man. All right, folks. Well, check this out. Here's what we gonna do here. Levon is not here to steer the show. I don't know where Levon is. I don't know where Parker is. We told everybody. We told everybody 6 o'clock. Maybe they thought 6 o'clock Hawaiian time. I don't know was what. But anyway, hey, listen. Show must go on. So anyway, Ladies and gentlemen, the first topic of the day is the Hulk theatrical distribution
Whoa,
rights.
whoa. Back up.
Okay,
You
let's
gotta
go.
explain what the show is about, Ricky.
Oh, well, before I even do that, apologies. I must introduce the panel. We got Who Else 22, the Deuce
Yep.
is here. We have Nico. Everybody knows Nico. The man has done 3,000 hours from his car and recreating these videos.
Let's go.
3,000. And we have my man, Mr. Manhattan, who I've been asking him to be a true panel member. Mr. Manhattan is like the damn Batman back here. He won't want to be official Justice League member and shit. We've been, he keep ducking and diving and not getting into what he want to, this and that. However, just like Deuce said, this show is going to be based on comic book movies, comic book merchandise, or whatever have you. Anything for all the basically, we're like the nerds around here, brother. This is just all going to be all about. You like Star Wars, you like DC, you like Marvel, you like Spawn, any of that stuff. And we got Manhattan going to steer the anime ship too for those that like the anime. So we're going to get into that because we don't have a whole lot of podcasts by the brothers that do these kind of shows. There's not a lot. There's not a lot of them. So we want to tap that part and get into that. So Levon's usually here. He steers the ship. I don't know where he is. He said he was going to be late, so he'll pop in. But as those that follow comic book movies and all this other stuff, we want to give you guys a little rundown here. Marvel Comics at one time was in very, very financial dire times. They were selling racks that the comic books went on. They were selling their soul. They were selling everything that they can because they were in debt. And because they were in debt, the one thing that was valuable to them to lease was their movie rights. And distributing the movie rights or leasing them, they leased the Hulk to Universal. They leased all of the X-Men to Fox. And then they lease Spider-Man and all of his amazing friends and continuity over to Sony. And so anytime, I think the contract was that if they were making any kind of movie or in development, whether it be Spider-Man, Hulk, or X-Men, they maintained the rights. And they also sold the Blade rights to Time Warner. That's why, remember, New Line Cinema had the Blade movies come out. So throughout the years, as Disney purchased Marvel, Disney is trying to collect all of their IPs, the intellectual properties of their movies. And so when they bought Fox, they were able to get the X-Men back. That's why you end up having two Quicksilvers. You had one in Fox's version of the X-Men, and then you had a Quicksilver version who was in the Avengers. When the Avenger movie came out, it was all confusing to some people. And what made it even more confusion is you had WandaVision, and you had the Quicksilver show up who was in the Fox's X-Men. So people were like, well, man, this is different. So, that kind of stuff, what happened and the continuity and what's canon and what's not canon. Shout out to Iron Mike. What's good, brother? So hit the like button when you come in. So all of that movie rights moving around and this and that, whatever, you kind of see the same thing with Lord of the Rings as well. Warner Brothers is saying they still own the rights, but then Amazon came out with a series. And then now Embracer Group, I believe, is making a game, saying that they can make games for it. So it's a lot of moving parts when it comes to obtaining rights to do that. If anybody remembers anything or knows anything, a lot of the Sony ponies know that Sony owned the rights to Spider-Man in movies and the merchandise at one time. And then what they had to do was Sony was in a little bit of a pickle because nobody buys cameras and TVs like they used to. Everybody buys these damn tablets. And Sony ended up selling the Spider-Man merchandise rights, which to me is more valuable than the movie rights. They sold those back to Disney, for cash considerations, which I thought, now again, I think it was a bad idea to sell that because has anybody in here on the panel, in the chat, in the internet, anytime you go to a store, whether it be Walmart or the corner store, there is something with Spider-Man's face on there.
Right.
You can't run from it, bro. They got Spider-Man book bags, lunch boxes, socks, underwear, sheets, drapes. I mean, everything. There's Spider-Man lighters. I seen Spider-Man lighters. Like, bro, Spider-Man is every effing where. He's everywhere. And for them, for Sony to sell those rights, bro, y'all just gave up the movie rights. the hell with it. Bro, merchandise lives forever. You know, people not always gonna go to your, you know, kids are always gonna want toys. Hell, I'm a big ass kid. I buy Spider-Man action figures at $400 a piece. So, you know, you know, merchandise is a big, and that's what put Lucas on the map with Star Wars. Because remember, at the time when Star Wars was owned by Fox, Lucas told Fox, because Fox didn't really believe in him. They was like, hey, look, Lucas said, hey, listen, guys, you guys can have all the distribution or whatever, but I want the merchandise rights. And they laughed at him. They like, sure, you can have that. Nobody's want toys from you. And the Star Wars merch is still one of the biggest in the world today. You know, since the 70s, bro. People buy the Star Wars merch. But as we move forward, we're going to talk about those Hulk theatrical distribution rights going back to Marvel now. So now, any of those that have been familiar with the MCU, we've seen the Hulk in MCU movies, but he had to be a supporting character. He couldn't be a main character.
Couldn't have his own movie, correct?
Nope, he couldn't. You seen Thanos give him the business and beat him up. You see him have a little chicken wing hand like the dude from Scary Movie. Like, they did Hulk dirty out here. But there was a reason for that, you know?
Yeah, bitch in the movies.
Yeah. Because they couldn't, like, it was like Universal, like, literally told them, like, look, he can't have more than X amount of lines and this and that or whatever. Like, it was crazy. Like, that's how bad, like, they was like, Hulk is ours, Hulk is ours. So now Universal lost the rights to the Hulk. I guess there was no Hulk movies either being made, or maybe they just took the buyout and said, hey, you know what, you guys could have them. Because it's no secret that Universal is trying to buy Warner Brothers. And I think if they bought Warner Brothers and combined Peacock with Max and all of that stuff, bro, that would be a problem. Like, you think they're bitching about Microsoft acquiring ABK. That's going to be a whole nother thing for, you know, the Justice Department to fight with. But I want to start with Deuce. What do you think about the Hulk theatrical distribution rights going back to Marvel? Do you think this will help with MCU movies? You know, maybe we might get a World Breaker Hulk or something. What do you think about that?
Honestly, I love them. I love the move. I was waiting for this to happen, and once I saw She-Hulk go to Disney Plus, I said that's just the cards moving in the right direction. I figured this was going to happen. I just didn't know when. So no, I think it's great news. I love the Incredible Hulk, even though it didn't do great box office numbers. With Edward Norton, loved that movie. So
yeah, it was probably the best one. You know, that was probably the best one.
I enjoyed it.
I'm dying to see what Kevin and the guys are going to do with it. So absolutely, I think this was a great move for them.
No doubt, no doubt. Nico, what do you think, brother?
Yeah, man, it's a gift and a curse, man, because we all love the Hulk as a character, but the Disney franchise, it's been going downhill lately, man. So, and they've been too jokey. And the Hulk, I don't want to see no jokey Hulk, man. As we see from Endgame and all the other previous movies, the only good Hulk movie to me, well, the one he was in was like Ragnarok. And he was more fierce
that was the best iteration of the Hulk, I think, was in Ragnarok, because he gave you a little funny side to Hulk. He had more lines. You know, he gave you a humor side. He gave you the side where he can just kick ass if he wanted to. Yeah. But I will say this to you. I don't think the MCU's demise has to do with the laughing. You know, people love that shit. People want to laugh. It's them going full-blown woke. It all started when they turned the Taskmaster into a woman.
Oh, that
was the beginning of what the F is going on here. And then when they had rumors of the X-Men not being called the X-Men.
Oh, yeah. I was like, what?
Bro. Listen, Kevin Feige needs to get his head out of his ass. I don't know what the dude is smoking. I mean, think about it. There's a reason why buddy over there, Sean Gunn, what's his name? James Gunn probably said, I'm up out of here. It's because he see this whole woke. Now, listen, he's not doing too well right now. We'll get into that later. But, you know, he himself has stirred up a hornet's nest with a few things. So, you know, I agree with you as far as though it's a gift and a curse, but I don't think the MCU is failing right now because of the laughy, jokey stuff. I think it's because they're forcing a whole lot of ish in there that nobody wants to see. And remember this too.
What's that?
Because of the LGBTQ themes in a lot of the movies, they're not allowed in a Chinese box office. And the Chinese box office is the largest box office in the world, whether people want to believe that or not. So anytime there is a same-sex kind of relation or anything like that, it's not
Yeah, they
put in
banned
the
it.
Chinese
Yeah.
box. Yeah, it's out of there. So that brings me to Parker. What do you think about the Hulk distribution rights going back to Marvel? And Parker's not there. So
Oh, wait.
Wait,
Let me
wait,
say
wait,
one
wait.
about.
Hold on.
He
Hold
there?
on. Now I hit my mic by accident. I'm saying that's good, but they can have Control show all the old Hulk stuff, whatever the Lou Ferrigno, all those shows, I guess.
probably
Right?
be on Disney Plus now.
Yeah. But as far as the Hulk the movie, I'm not. I don't know what you're gonna do with it though, because it's been underwhelming as far as Hulk as a movie, standalone movie though. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, he has been, but maybe again, with the way Feige's going wokeosaurus on us, we don't know what he's going to do with Hulk. I mean, we hope it gets better.
really, the Hulk, really doesn't have any depth of character to me though.
Yeah,
It's like a
exactly. He's more
one-trick
like a
pony.
mercenary. Yes. He's not a superhero. He's a mercenary. He's a hired gun. Yo, shout out to Mello, his little Rodney's son. Look at this dude. I haven't. Oh man, he says gay Hulk confirmed. Hey, you never know, brother. He's right.
Man, that'd be
Listen,
terrible.
listen, bro. That's what's wrong with the MCU. Because here's what the problem is with the MCU. A lot of people. What do we have on this panel? Are there any women in this panel? No, right?
Mm-mm,
None.
no.
The comic book dudes are mostly guys. First of all, me and Parker probably read more comics than anybody in this panel and chat combined. We're a lot older than you guys. So we used to actually physically go to a store, pick up a comic book, and flip through the pages. You know,
And
Parker
also
Parker
get
still
comic book
does that.
signs, too.
Yes.
And get comic book signs also. Get them signed.
Yes.
I got guys from Marvel. Actually, the guys who did the Beavis and Butthead. It was at
Mike
Newport
Judge.
Mall,
Mike Judge.
Yeah, right. They signed it. I got that comic book signed also though. But yeah, you know.
So so a lot of people they don't haven't read comic books before. I mean, that's one thing that's funny because Nana went back and rest in peace on her little thing. So Nana used to get mad when I used to go buy toys all the time or video games. So then I became obsessed with comic books. So Nana's like, I don't mind that you buy comic books as long as you're reading. So then she walked into my room and got a whole big box full of comic books. Then she started saying something about them. Like, hey, Nana, listen, what are we going to do here? So, that was the whole thing. So comic book, that's what's hurting the MCU. They're not holding the canon stuff. You're turning Taskmaster to a woman now. And that kind of stuff. Now, listen, we're not, we don't hate women or anything like that.
But I got something to say. I feel like that they can do it right because don't you feel like Wakanda Forever was done kind of decent? Like I enjoyed a female-led movie.
We
but they
don't
did it
have a
right,
problem with that, but if a character canon is a male, it needs to be kept as a male. Now, we're not talking about race because I think Samuel L. Jackson is Nick Fury. That works.
Yeah,
that works. He's a cool-ass dude. The Shaft trench coat. I'm feeling that shit. Yeah. I'm feeling that. Yeah, hey, listen, Mello is Lil Rodney, so yes, comic books were always very political because you know why? I would say about 70% of the comics were written by Jewish people. And they were telling their stories to them being oppressed. And I believe Stan Lee said that when he wrote the X-Men, that the mutants were the black people, that Malcolm X was Magneto, that Martin Luther King was with Professor Xavier. Like he used that was inspired by that.
Is Stan Lee Jewish?
Yes, absolutely. His name's not Stan. No, it's and the same guys that made Superman. They were also Jewish.
Yeah, I want to say that they from out of Cleveland, Jerry Siegel and Joe.
Yeah, yes. And those aren't their real names; those are their pen names. Because if they use their real name, like Stan Lee can't use his real name, he didn't want to because he has a Jewish last name, and then they'll probably ban him. So
I didn't know that.
The origin of Superman came about during, I think, around World War II, where he actually freed the Jews from the concentration camp.
Yes.
It was created about Jewish people that actually, I think, were captured by the Germans too, the people that created Superman. He was basically an idea, like something that they looked up to that came. Basically, Superman represents America.
Basically.
No, right, but Superman represents America coming to save them from the Germans. If you look at Superman, what he represents, they model him after pretty much like America. Like that's really what he, truth, justice. Like that's why he has that slogan. He always stands for the truth, justice, and who's always preaching that? America, right?
Yeah,
right. That's what Superman really represents, like America.
Man, hit it right on the head because that was the slogan: the truth, justice, and the American way. And then
exactly that's what
along the way.
Yes,
Along the way,
that's
they
what
had to take
Superman
out the
used to
American
say.
way because they wanted to include the world in it. So they had to
Yes.
remove the American way.
Right. So as the character grew bigger and bigger, they realized like that idea doesn't sit right with a lot of people because people started to like Superman across the world. So they had to
Yeah.
get rid of that slogan, "Truth, Justice, and American Way." So
Yeah,
it
well, the
became
same
like this
thing with Captain
global,
America.
right?
When them MCU
Yes.
Captain America movies came out, they weren't
Yes.
calling them Captain America. I think it was just called the Winter Soldier in
Yeah.
China or any other place because Captain America gonna ruffle some feathers. We are the greatest country in the world. A lot of people don't like
Yeah.
us. So, that's what it, and just another nugget. Is it true or not true that Dragon Ball Z just stole Superman's whole origin story with this dude? I mean,
Z, yes, it did.
It was
Because
inspired by
it's
it a little bit.
the
Yeah.
way
You got
it
some
started.
Gotta
Marvel
be
ones.
inspired
Go
by
ahead.
Dragon,
Go
no,
ahead.
Dragon Ball Z was in origin because it started with Dragon Ball, which is Sun Wukong, right? Goku was basically off the Chinese mythical Sun Wukong journey to the west. I don't. A lot of y'all remember that. Remember the monkey Sun Wukong with the staff? He
Yep,
he
yep.
literally rise the cloud. That's what it started. But when it came to Z, then he had to give it backstory. But at the time, Superman was so popular that he borrowed the idea of dying planet, being saved sent to Earth. But the contrast is that Goku wasn't sent to Earth to do great. He was literally sent there to conquer and destroy it.
Yeah.
But obviously, he falls on his head, and all of that changed. But
Now,
yeah,
did you see that anti-Superman movie by James Gunn, where
Yes.
Bright, when they Brightburn, when they sent a kid with the same
You talking about
Superman type
the one with
story?
the little kid?
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was a
yeah.
Superman
That shit
story,
was fire.
but in
That shit was
reverse.
fire.
Yeah, that
Yeah, I
was a
liked it.
Superman story, but in reverse. I think that's what got James Gunn the job at heading the DC universe. I think that's the because let me tell you something. The DC always did better with lower budget stuff like Joker. Like that kind of stuff. Like when they don't put this big budget stuff out and they just write a good movie, like the Dark Knight movies, those movies, they turn out to be good box office wise and critically acclaimed. Now, a lot of the movies they've been putting out have been not so well received because a lot of the times you were trying to get these beloved DC characters to be certain things that they're not.
Right.
Like there is a scene, and we'll get to that in the Flash, where Batman's out during the daytime. Bro, he doesn't handle that. They had Batman.
He just did
Batman. He's the
Now, I wanna
Dark
ask a
Knight
question,
for a
though.
reason.
I want to say one question. So this movie came about before James Gunn came aboard, right? The
Well,
Flash, I'm
but he
assuming
did
so.
have, but he had control of certain things he put in there to change it out. Like, again, we'll get to the end or whatever, but he did change
never
something.
mind. We'll wait till
Like,
that.
like
Right.
he used the Flash movie to basically reset the Snyderverse to be his own. Because the first legit James Gunn movie, I think, is Blue Beetle. I think that's the first movie that's going to be the new DCEU is Blue Beetle. I think that's I think that's going to be, and then
that's the starting point.
Yes,
basically.
that's the starting point. They're getting rid of. So basically, the Shazams, the Black Adams. Only thing that is canon in this new James Gunn is, I believe, Aquaman and Wonder Woman are the only ones, because now with kind of the box office dud that Flash was, now I can see them parting ways with Ezra Miller.
Hold on, I do got a question with Flash. When y'all get to that topic, then
Yeah.
let you know.
So that's that. So we all feel as though that maybe that MCU can do something better with Hulk. Maybe we just want the MCU just to do better. Period. Matter of fact, I'm gonna put a poll up in the chat. Is it a good thing that the MCU has it? So, did we get Manhattan spoke his piece on it? Parker spoke his piece on it. So you got Skybound acquires Transformers. Yeah, go ahead, bro.
No, I spoke piece on who? The Hulk?
Yeah, the Hulk. The Hulk.
I mean, I don't think Disney could do much with
But
the Hulk.
I would say this though.
I mean,
maybe,
just looking at they're gonna have to reboot the whole entire character. So, because we're not like if they decided to go with this whole Professor Hulk shit, I'm good, man.
Oh
You know
yeah.
I got two things they could do, right? They can do Savage Land Hulk or Future Imperfect Hulk. The story arc from that. See what I'm saying? Like that.
What they teasing with his son at the end of She-Hulk? He got a son or something now,
Yeah, it's all over the place with the Hulk. That's what I'm saying. Hulk's supposed to be a vicious,
Yeah, bro. I remember they had to call the Fantastic Four in to like calm this dude down. Like he was going crazy, bro. They had to they needed the Fantastic Four and the Avengers to calm this dude down.
Now, if they go back to Edward Norton's Hulk, yeah, then we cooking. But if
What would you
they
do?
stick with that MCU Professor Hulk, I'm good, man. That shit gonna be ass.
What about a Hulk versus Wolverine type movie? You feel me? Like
Oh,
like an
I,
offshoot.
Yeah, that'd be fire. I love that
that would be
cartoon movie.
fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I,
then again, then you gotta you gotta retcon
An
the whole
offshoot
character.
though. I'm
bro,
saying
did y'all
offshoot, not. Go ahead.
did y'all see when Hulk went to Asgard, yo, and just beat the living shit out of everybody? Yo,
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
crazy, yo. Hulk is a monster. That's why I didn't like
That's
the
what I want
way
to see.
they made
Yeah.
Thanos beat him down basically with one hand behind his back like Darkseid. Like, yo,
Yeah.
he can't
I
do
was
that.
pissed.
But Thanos is sort of
He had
like
the Power
dark
Stone
side
though,
of.
but he had the
Yeah,
Power
but
Stone.
he,
Like us,
but he's sort of like, but Thanos is a more powerful, like not more powerful, but Thanos' character, he's on a different power, like
Yeah,
regular.
but Hulk ain't that weak though, bro. Hulk
Nah,
ain't
He's
that
not
hell
weak, though.
no.
No, but what I'm saying is, you say Thanos sort of similar to like how Darkseid is. They made by the both guys. Was it Jack Kirby made him, right?
Yeah, but you gotta understand with Thanos,
The movie only did
Darkseid is already a god. Thanos needs the gauntlet to become godly.
But Thanos is powerful though. He is.
The movie did that just to make Thanos like to be.
Yeah,
very,
I remember I said it before.
They wrote
noticed someone
Disney
else.
only did just to show you like, oh my god, like how
Yeah.
look, the big bad villain took down the Hulk. But
Yes,
reality
that's not
is
happening,
streetwise, I don't know if like
He'll hang with him though. He'll hang with the Hulk. Like
I mean, yeah, he can hang with
yeah.
him, but
Yeah, so
like taking out the Hulk like that, just
But remember though,
He
also
just
though,
thinking.
I don't know how strong Thanos is, but remember even in the comic books, Abomination knocked the Hulk unconscious. So
Well, if you go by MCU's Abomination has the super soldier serum in him.
yeah, that's like
So
crazy.
yeah, he's like mutated to some. I get it.
Yeah.
I mean, look, everybody has their own twist on things, and I think that's why a lot of people are turning their back. Well, not everybody, but a lot of people, like the diehards, are kind of sick of the MCU because a lot of things that were canon, like I mean, you had dudes complaining that they made Cosmos a girl dog in Guardians of the Galaxy. Like they were mad about that because Cosmos is a boy dog in the comics, but he made her a girl because there was this like girl dog from Russia that they sent out in outer space as an experiment to see how high up you can go before you can't breathe. And it was a Russian dog that they did. That's why she has a Russian accent in Guardians of the Galaxy. So she was a female dog. So they made Cosmos a female in the movie, and then some people were like, well, "Why you make her because the phrase is they called him a good boy in the comics. They'd be like, "Are you a good boy? Are you a good boy?" And it rubs some of the diehards the wrong way because he made it a girl. I mean, that to me is not really a big deal. Taskmaster probably a bigger deal. So
I'm gonna be honest. I never really followed the Guardians of the Galaxy comic book. Yes, to be honest.
Well, and that shows you the power that James Gunn did to make it popular. Because and think about this, the MCU was the gift that kept on giving at one time. Because Iron Man was a B character. Nobody cared about Iron Man. It was Spider-Man a burst over there in Marvel. And at one point, from 2008 till about, I don't know, a few years ago, Iron Man was more popular than Spider-Man. Like he was the MCU. And then they killed him. That's one of the MCU's problems. You don't have Iron Man anymore. Without Iron Man in the MCU, it kind of has lost its luster. Like everybody knew Tony Stark was the dude. You had a problem? Call Tony. You needed time travel? Call Tony. You need some weapons? Call Tony. There ain't no Tony no more.
In fairness, Rick, though, to just combat what you just said, they did have that, but the person that was supposed to be that next Iron Man died in real life. So they was grooming Chadwick to be that next
definitely.
go-to. But unfortunately, their hands are tied because you can't come back from that.
They tried with Tom Holland too, with the Spider-Man thing.
No. What I'm saying is the go-to guy, like you said, like the weapons and all of that.
Yeah,
like
they wanted to be the Black Panther.
Give that man a shield. Like he was gonna be that go-to, but unfortunately, like I said, with the brother passing, they could no longer go that route.
But
so
I think Deuce, and I think Disney is creating. They're fixing that because there's going to be a time burst where his son is going to be the prince now. Because you already seen that if you saw Wakanda Forever. They know
I'm
that,
down with that.
yeah, because they know this female Black Panther ain't gonna make it because not because Cherie's not a great character. It's just that Cherie, the actress that plays her, she's a little bit of problematic on set. She was getting hurt. She wouldn't take a COVID shot vaccination, and they said she was difficult to work with. So listen, you know what happens when you get difficult to work with? Ask Terrence Howard, they get your ass up out of the MCU. So, so that's just what it is. That they'll pull one of those moves and get you up out of here. Hit the like button for everybody just now coming through here. This is episode 1 of the Watchtower. We're going to be doing this every Sunday at 6 o'clock. We're going to be discussing the comics. The brothers is here. The brothers read comics too. Some people think the brothers can't read, but we read. We read the comics, you know what I'm saying? And we go to the movies too. And we don't go in there, even though guys like Eclipse don't want us in the cinema, but we go to the movies too. So, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So the brothers, we out here. We out here. Now, one of the topics Levon wanted to go over was Skybound acquires Transformers and G.I. Joe comic book license. Now, being the 80s baby that I am, do anybody on the panel, maybe Parker knows, probably because I told him, do you guys know who originally wrote the Transformers comics?
It was that couple you said, but I don't know.
It was Marvel. Marvel.
Yeah, you did say that a while ago.
Yes,
Marvel,
sir.
You said who wrote it though, but
Marvel.
No, but who was the writer though? That's what I'm saying.
I don't remember who the writer was, but the publisher was Marvel. And So now, is Skybound acquiring Transformers and G.I. Joe? I'm wondering if they're going to try to implement their comic stories with their new G.I. Joe Transformers shared universe. Because has anybody on the panel seen Transformers?
Yeah, the new one.
Yeah, the new one. Yeah, so at the end, you got G.I. Joe. I think that was Duke at the end. I don't know if that was Duke or whoever. So, which means The Rock is probably going to get another damn movie. Roadblock might show up.
Please,
Red Roadblock might be showing up. So they're going to integrate the Transformers universe with G.I. Joe, which some people say is crazy, but if you were an 80s baby, Cobra Commander was on an episode of the Transformers at one time. So, and Chris Leda was the guy that talked for him and Starscream. If you notice, Cobra Commander and Starscream have the same voice because that was Chris Leda. He was a stand-up comedian. He died from a heart attack or something. But yeah, Chris Leda was the G right there. So look, shout out to Isaiah. He said DC. He said Flash is another DC plot. Shout out to Mello. Mello said, I didn't know Terrence Howard got kicked out of the comic book. Well, yeah, he got kicked out of the MCU.
Yeah, and, Iron Man.
He was the original roadie. They ain't even let the brother get in the suit yet. They was like, nah, bro. Yeah, they didn't let him get in the suit. So the fact that Skybound is now doing a Transformers and G.I. Joe comic book story, I'm wondering if they're going to integrate that to the movies. Now, everybody was shitting on Transformers. Vaughn in the Triple B Discord, he was shitting on Transformers, said Transformers was going to be mid.
With the new one?
Yeah.
The new one,
now,
right?
if my math is correct, Big Vaughn, I know you're out there, Transformers did better than Flash, bro.
Yes, and I'm happy it did too.
Just remember that.
Wait, it didn't release. It released before the Flash, so you can't really compare the two. Though. Didn't it release last weekend?
It did, but it made double what Flash? Flash only made 50-something million in the holiday weekend.
Well, the Flash bombing, bro.
Yeah, the Flash bombing.
Well, the Flash made. You talking about worldwide or just domestic?
I'm talking domestic.
Made one. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I'm gonna say this though, right? I'm pretty sure that the Transformers got a bigger budget if Michael Bay's on there.
You got to remember, this is a DC movie. They both got about $200 million budget. And remember, Michael Bay doesn't have anything to do with these Transformers anymore. He was the reason they took his ass out because his budget was like $80 million more than they wanted to spend. Think about it. How could a Transformer movie budget be $400 million? Bro, it's CGI. But no, this nigga want to blow up the whole block. Like, bro.
Yeah. He want to explode everything.
I heard the Flash budget was increased to like $350 million this time because
of course,
delayed for so long.
I looked it up. They said 200.
But think about this. That was Deuce. That was 200 million originally. You done added Clooney in there. Not spoiler alert. You added Nicolas Cage in there.
All the reshoots.
Reshoots. I'm pretty sure Christopher Reeve's family has got their hand out for his images that were in the movie.
Are we going into the Flash?
No, we about to. We'll get there in a minute, but we're still on the Transformer. You know how we do. We go all over the place till we get back to the stop sign. Levon's not here to steer the ship. I don't know where the hell he went. These light-skinned brothers do what they want. But anyway, so the Transformers, G.I. Joe, they're going to have a movie together. Actually, they're working on 3 movies in the Transformer universe right now. They're working on a Maximal only movie, a G.I. Joe integrated movie, and another obviously regular Transformers movie with Optimus Prime and Bumblebee, who seems to be the kids' choice of like their favorite Transformer is Bumblebee. So they're still making
Mirage,
those movies.
Mirage grew on me.
Well,
Mirage.
my problem with Mirage is he originally came out as a Porsche 911 in the movie. Mm-hmm. Everybody who knows anything about Transformers knows that the goddamn Porsche 911 is jazz, not Mirage. Mirage is that little freaking funny indie racing car shit, because he did turn into that for like a hot second in the movie. He's like, I could be a Lambo and I could be this and that. That's the original car that Mirage was in the 80s Transformers. The 911 Porsche, that was jazz. So that's why I be getting mad at these Transformer movies, bro. Like Bumblebee, bro, he's a goddamn Volkswagen. They be making him a Camaro and all this other shit because they had to deal with GM. I'm like, bro, keep the shit canon. The motherfuckers that's live from the 80s, we still pay to go see these movies. And here's another mistake they made with Transformers. They made Transformers in today's time. You can't, because you got smartphones, you got internet and all this. You didn't have that shit in the 80s. You know, that's what made Transformers believable. But when everybody has an internet, you got the Hubble telescope, you got all of that stuff out there, it's not believable that robots from outer space is going to come down here seeing big ass meteors fall. I mean, hell, it's about 40 of them, and nobody's not going to know that. Like, that's why that doesn't fit. That's why I like Bumblebee. Shout out to Mac City. Mac, that's why I like Bumblebee, because Bumblebee was more grounded. It took place in the 80s. There was no internet. Internet was in its infancy. So that's why it was more believable. Mac 80s baby too. Bro, that's just what it is. Shout out to Mac. He got his own theme, so I already know that.
Oh, did you like Rise of the Beast? It was in the 90s then. Did you like Rise of the Beast?
Oh, yeah.
Make a modern Transformer. It has to be.
It's not gonna work, Parker. It's not gonna work.
That's not true.
Okay, well, guess what? Think about this, Parker. Ever since the first Michael Bay Transformers, the box office kept dipping and dipping and dipping and dipping, because the first one, everybody was on nostalgia. They never seen a CGI Optimus Prime come up and say, I'm Optimus Prime. But after a while, you're looking at today's time and wait a minute. If you're morphing to all these different robots, turn yourself into a rocket ship and go back to Cybertron. What's stopping you? You know what I mean? Come on, bro.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
Think about that.
But hold on for a minute. I got to stop you right there, Rick. Now, the cartoons, a lot of the Autobots were just basically like vehicles. Not too many with space carriers, though.
Facts, Vidali. Bumblebee was fired because Bumblebee, you know why Bumblebee was fired, Parker? Number one, Vidali, if you watch Bumblebee in the beginning, the reason why Bumblebee was so banging, because they had the OG Cybertron Transformers in the beginning. They had my man Shockwave was there, Laserbeak was on Soundwave. He was, that's what we need, bro.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Yes, that shit right, bro. I saw that shit. I was like, God damn, this is the best Transformers movie ever. And that was the shit. And then when old girl had Bumblebee in his play, you got the touch. I said, hell yeah. That was it. Listen, Optimus Prime dying in the movie theater almost ruined my childhood. That's how much I loved Optimus Prime. That was my dude. Optimus Prime and Hulk Hogan. Those were my role models.
You talking about when he got stabbed up in the cartoon?
Nah, in the cartoon. Yeah, in the cartoon. Yeah, when freaking Hot Rod. That's why I always hated Hot Rod and Rodimus Prime. Because Hot Rod and Rodimus Prime caused Optimus to get killed. He had Megatron dead to rights. And then
we talking about the Michael Bay movie? Or?
No, whoa. We talking about the animated original.
No, he talking about the cartoon back in the 80s.
Bro,
I remember that shit.
I will never forget that this shit here almost made me piss my pants when I was a kid. When Megatron had Prime on the ground and that motherfucker said, I would have waited an eternity for this. It's over, Prime. And I'm like, no! And then Prime gave him that double axe handle and knocked him down, but then that bitch-ass freaking nerd Perceptor got to talk about I fear the wounds are fatal. And then I was like, damn, Prime's about to die. And then I'm like, wait a minute, you bought Ultra Magnus back, but you can't bring Prime back? Open the Matrix. But it's funny. But here's what I'll say. Here's a nugget for you guys that were born in the 2000s. What happened was they killed Optimus Prime off, honestly, to sell more fucking toys. That's what Hasbro did it for. They said they wanted to build new Transformers, and that's when the whole toy line fell to shit. They killed Optimus Prime. But so many parents wrote in. I think my mother might have wrote in because I was traumatized. The parents wrote in and said, bring back Optimus Prime. This is ridiculous, blah, 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 blah. And what happened next season? They bought back motherfucking Optimus Prime. And he
come back the next season.
He came back the next season. They wrote it in pretty good. It was clever how they did it because they had a outer space.
Spores.
Yeah, they had like a outer with the spores. But they had the outer space like graveyard where all the dead Autobots were. And then they visited it because they ran out of gas or something. And it was like, yo, this is Optimus Prime's grave. So they went to his grave and it was empty. And it was like, whoa, where's Optimus Prime? And so Optimus Prime is like a zombie. And he's out attacking him with one arm. And I'm like, oh shit, Optimus Prime is back. But they kind of teased you. Because I believe later on in that episode, it was like a 2-part episode. Supposedly he burned up from the sun. Because he was saving the Autobots by taking a ship and it burned up in the sun. So as a kid, it was satisfying to see Prime again. But then we're like, damn, he's dead again. However, later that summer, the spores came. And then they had Skylynx and them going to get Optimus Prime and the Quintessons to come and bring him back to life. And that right there was satisfying that they brought Optimus Prime back, but I think it was too little too late. Transformers as a series, as a toy line was dying. And one of the reasons why Transformers was dying, and I can tell you this as a collector, and I would consider myself as a man who can afford Transformers, but the fact is they made too many of them. There was too many Transformers to buy. And they were very expensive. You know, each Transformer was like $25.
You're saying that only because you can't collect all of them, but I'm sure everybody loved that they had an option of picking. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but everybody wanted, but everybody wanted an Optimus Prime. They didn't make them anymore. All right, so now you're not making it out. Everybody wanted Megatron. You couldn't turn him into a gun anymore because they changed the law. Because Megatron was a Walther P-88. And then they looked like a real gun. If you put the stock and the barrel on that Megatron gun, bro, you know we got problems in the hood now with cops thinking wallets are guns and cell phones. Bro, you pull out a Megatron, he gonna put a hole in you. Because I have a masterpiece Megatron, OG one, right? The masterpieces are like the top tier line from Japan. They're about, $800. And when I transform him into a gun, he looks like a real gun. And I got a call from the school because my son took the gun to show and tell. He didn't tell me. So they called me and said, Mr. Brown, we need to talk to you. We need to talk to you right now. And I'm like, hey, what's going on? They're like, you need to come down to the school. So I left my job. I'm thinking my kid got hit by a bus or some shit. Mr. Brown, we can't have your son bringing this to school and this and that. I'm like, look, it was a fucking Megatron with the stock and barrel that's about 2.5 feet long. And it looks like a real fucking gun.
But Rick, you know that's the reason why they changed that character from a gun to an airplane, right?
Yeah, he's a tank, an airplane. I mean, but it kind of fit. Let's be honest. I hear you, Mac. Now, listen, I hear all that, but it doesn't really fit with him being a gun when everybody's a plane or some shit. You know what I mean? So
I like the fact that they were different type of. They weren't all cars. I love that.
Yeah. That was hot.
But I understand why they had to do that because violence and all that and kids. So I get it.
Yeah. Yo, so that was crazy, bro. Like you couldn't. It looked just like a gun. So I mean, listen, I know the younger cats in here, like the Manhattans and the Nikos, like what the fuck are these old niggas talking about? But that's what it was, bro. That motherfucker was a gun. Yeah, you're right, Videli. The good old days, bro. I remember back in the day. I'm from the projects, and I'm proud of that because I ain't in the projects no more.
You got to be time sensitive. Remember the topic.
No doubt. We about to move on to Flash after this. All that other middle stuff is done. We going on to Flash after this. So back in the day, they used to have these water guns that you put batteries in, and they look like real Uzis and shit. And bro, that was a problem. Like cops.
I remember that. Damn, you put me back with that shit.
Bro, they look like real freaking Mac 10s and shit out here, bro. And the cops was like, yo, you can't do this no more. And that's when they had to start making water guns with this neon and the super soakers and shit came out. Because they didn't want those water guns, even though they ran on batteries and them shit looked official. I wonder how many liquor stores got knocked off you know, with them motherfuckers, because they're like, hey, this motherfucker got a Mac 10 pointing at me. But anyway, moving along with our Levon, bro. I can go off the rails, bro. But anyway, our last topic we're gonna do today before we get up out of here is we're gonna talk about the Flash movie impressions. Now, spoiler alert, so y'all might not want to be you know. Now we ain't doing no 8 hours like sick humor. Nah, we ain't doing that. Mello's little Robbie
But
son.
I also wanted to talk about Into the Spider-Verse too.
Yeah,
so
yeah, you know, let's do Into the Spider-Verse. Then we'll conquer Flash, because Into the Spider-Verse was #1 box office debut as well.
10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. I mean,
10. You think 10 out of 10?
Yeah, I
love
agree.
it.
I agree. It's
You
very.
agree?
Honestly, I can't find any. Well, let me let you go, and then I'll give my opinion.
Well, I give it a 8.5 out of 10. Here, #1. Here's why I don't give it a 10 out of 10. You can't tell me that Miles fucking Morales can evade like 3,000 Spider-Men. I mean, goddamn, even the Insomniac Spider-Man should have caught his ass or something. Like, what's going on here? Like, I just didn't understand it. Like, they made this dude like overpowered. Like, Miles can do no wrong when he's Spider-Man. Like, I've never seen like listen, I get it. I don't know how Superman is stronger than Zod. Maybe, you know, Parker might touch on that and say, well, it's because he's been on Earth longer. I guess that's why
You just gave your own answer. That's the reason.
you know, that's the only thing I can think of. But goddamn, Miles is out here putting in work, bro. And I'm like, wait a minute. If Peter Parker's the OG, well, then again, he was kind of on Miles' side. He was a little sensitive to him. But that's the only thing I did. And I can't say I hated it, but I'm like, listen, you guys could have wrote me something a little bit better than this guy evading 10,000 Spider-Men. You know, him being the mighty of all the Spider-Men. That was my only problem with it. My kids loved it. They can't wait for the next one. I thought it would be out for sure later this year, but no, it's not coming out till 2024. So, you know, I give it an 8.5 out of 10, maybe a 9. If I want to be nice, I can give it a 9. But listen,
Give it a 9. Give it a 9.
no movie, bro. Only very few movies get 10 out of 10s, bro. I saved the 10 out of 10s for like, you know, The Dark Knight. What else we got? Justice League Doom. What else we got? The 1979 Christopher Reeve Superman movie. Superman 2. Like those.
Batman Dark Knight. Dark Knight?
Yes.
Okay,
those are 10 out of 10 comic book movies. Miles, I'm not just because you're animated don't mean that I'll give you the shine, bro. But I'm just saying I can't give you a 10 out of 10 when I gave Superman 1 and 2 10s out of 10s. When I gave The Dark Knight a 10 out of 10. Everybody can't get a 10 out of 10. And I'd be saying the same thing about Metacritic. Like, you know, we can't give everything a 10 out of 10 because everything can't be rated as the greatest. You know, there's going to have to be some top-notch dude that's going to have to take L's. It's not even really an L. You're just not, you know, top 5. Everybody can't be top 5. Can't. But I'll give it a 9.
But isn't that subjective, Rick? If you could say Dark Knight is 10 out of 10, but personally, I didn't like Dark Knight. My favorite Batman was 89 Batman, straight up, and I gave that movie a 10 out of 10. If you ask me what I'd give Dark Knight, a 7. I didn't like Heath Ledger as Joker because I was comparing him to Jack Nicholson. So
hey, true, it's fair.
That's all subjective.
Totally fair. Now, listen, now when I was a kid, I gave the 89 Batman a 10 out of 10. But then when I watch it as an adult and I see Keaton couldn't turn his head, his fight moves were terrible, which was all corrected in The Flash, and we'll get to that in a minute. Like, that's why I think you should have Keaton as the Batman again. Because with the CGI, I mean, Keaton's like, he's better than Affleck. But but that's what I'm getting for. I gave it a 9. Deuce, you gave it a 10? The Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, honestly, it was very. I couldn't really find a reason. You know what I thought you was gonna say? I thought you was gonna say you didn't like how Miles was running away from all the Spider-Man, but he couldn't run away from himself. Because I was gonna have an answer for you for that.
Well, I think we talked about that, so that's why I didn't bring it up, because he got cold-cocked by, you know, his self. Yeah. So
yeah. And he wasn't expecting it because his guard was down. He saw his uncle again, and he was like, "Yo, you uncle, I love you." And he wasn't expecting that. He knew he was getting chased by 300, so he had to do what he had to do to get away. So I understand why he got caught at the end. Even though I ain't gonna lie, I'm hyped, man. I hated the way the movie ended because I was like, nah, I want more. What is this?
I knew it was gonna end, and my kids couldn't believe it. It's like, Dad, it's the end. I said, you can tell because the freaking climax of the movie, they didn't want to give it to you. I said it ended just how the first Lord of the Rings ended. Remember, the first Lord of the Rings ended like that with a big battle about to come. and then boom, that's it. Because especially when I cheated, I figured out that they was filmed. It was a 2-part movie, so I kind of knew. I'm like, okay, they're gonna end it here. And the same thing with Lord of the Rings. I'm like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, it's about to end. So we're gonna have to see what's gonna happen with Mordor or whatever the hell was going on. But hey, I gave it a 9. You gave it a 10. Nico gave it a 10. What you give it, Parker?
Oh, I didn't see the movie. I was going to touch on what like Deuce said. Listen, Heath was the greatest Joker ever played. He had phenomenal. That Batman's the greatest Batman movie ever. And so that's my opinion. And he won the Oscar, didn't he? Didn't he win an award for that post whatever? So yeah, he was better than like what Jack Nicholson's Joker though. Clearly.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying that he's not. I think it was a tie, to be honest with you. I mean, the way that he talked kind of bothered me when he's like, well, my father, he, when he did that, I mean,
listen, like, he was the best actor.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. You know what? I hate to bring race into it. I ain't like the way he killed my man. You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
Yeah, Michael Jai White is a Bridgeport, Connecticut native, bro. I didn't like the way we went out like that. Connecticut honestly, brothers, we don't go out like that.
I wouldn't be mad if I made him Blade.
Bro, they should. Not only that, when they were talking about having a black Batman, I think Michael Jai White would have been perfect if they made Batman black. Perfect, because he's a real ninja and shit. Like, bro, let him rock. So
Max City said he ain't seen Flash yet, so he gonna have to know that there's gonna be spoilers ahead.
Oh man, yeah, Mac, we might. Well, Mac, it might be some spoilers. Mac, shout out Thriller Ali is up in here, my man. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, look, we got the bros coming from the gaming show, like paying us visit. We appreciate that, bro. We want this show to take off. Like our gaming show is actually doing very well. We're treading the right way. Mello's coming out to help. Deuce pops in. Parker's doing this thing. Levon doing this thing. And bro, the chat, y'all help us out a lot. And that's why when Deuce and we all got together, we was like, yo, let's come out with a comic book show and talk about movie, because not everybody talk about that, especially the brothers. They don't talk about that. And we're going to try to provide that kind of content for you. So,
okay.
So Nico, well, you got to give your rating for the Snyderverse.
But I can't. I didn't see it.
He can't. He said
he didn't see it. Oh, okay.
Ask Manhattan. After Parker asked Manhattan, did he see it?
Did he? Did Manhattan? Did you see it? You live right. Well, ain't no movie theaters in Manhattan anymore. It's a homeless shelter now. What's going on over there? Yeah. Well, Manhattan. What's going on? See, I told you, Manhattan is like the Batman of the freaking the panel. He pops in and out.
Here's my thing. This is the question I got for the Flash movie. So. Now that Codex, now the Codex, so where was the Codex? Was it downloaded in Kal-El Infant, or was it downloaded into like Super? That's the question I want to ask.
It was they needed Kara's blood to get it going.
Because they downloaded it into her.
To her, because they killed the Inf. They killed Kal-El. Like Kal-El's dead in that universe.
This is what I'm saying though. So basically, I'm looking at it like this though, right? So what if that really wasn't I would say the Henry Cavill Superman? We know in his timeline it was downloaded to that baby though. So what? So I'm asking myself, so what actually changed where it was downloaded to Kara?
Well, here's what they did to cover their tracks on that. They had Michael Keaton explaining it when he was in Wayne Manor. He was like, look, this is what happened. You change one thing and like 5 or 6 other things can happen. You don't really know. There are some things that are still constant in each universe. He said, in this universe, there are no metahumans. It was just her. There was no Cyborg. There's no Aquaman. None of that. It was just Batman, who's a regular human being who stopped being Batman because Gotham was already under control. They didn't need him anymore. So he was like, yeah.
So I want to say, so basically, that so in that instance, so it wasn't the Henry Cavill infant, Superman that died, because it didn't fit his timeline. What happened? Because we all know from Man of Steel, the Codex was went into the baby, because Jor-El did that, right?
Yeah, that's a good question, because that Jor-El that Zod they showed was the Zod from Man of Steel. They didn't show the Zod Terrence Stamp from the old Christopher Reeve movies, but you did see Christopher Reeve. They did show Henry Cavill. Actually, Henry Cavill's part was edited out because obviously he's not Superman anymore, because he was supposed to have a cameo in a movie. Gal Gadot was in a movie. Obviously,
technically, Rick, he did because in the original Justice League with Joss Whedon, they actually showed his part when he woke up from death. So they did show him, but you know the actual actor wasn't in the movie.
So basically, what I'm saying is this, though, right? So I don't think that was Henry Cavill's time. Like, you might have had a similar person from it, like Zod, though, right? Because that's how Zod will look anyway, right? But as far as with the Codex, that didn't happen that time around. So it was a change. I mean, that was a different like universe that happened. See what I'm saying? It was a different outcome thing. So that means that other timeline with like Henry Cavill, I think that's still.
Well, for spoiler alert, as we've been saying, the Aquaman is still canon, and that he was at the end of the end credit scene. So Aquaman is the same. At the end, it was George Clooney coming in as Bruce Wayne, as opposed to Ben Affleck. So
different timelines going on in one movie. Different timelines going on in one movie.
It was. So, I think it was cool that they showed the receding hairline Nicolas Cage Superman with that horrible suit. They had that in there. That suit was bad, bro. But I would have liked to see Tom Welling Superman from Smallville. I would have loved to have seen him in there, because I think besides Christopher Reeve, he was probably the second best Superman until Henry Cavill came along. I thought Tom Welling would have been perfect to play Superman. I thought he was, tall guy, about 6'2", 6'3". He might have to, hit the weights a little bit. Nobody hits the weights like Cavill. And, I just thought that they should have showed him. They didn't. They showed the Adam West Batman. Obviously they had the Keaton Batman.
Well, come on, they could have did. I mean, it's called a Flash, right? They could have did Grant Gustin a solid and threw him in there. Come on.
They could have also did a Christian. They didn't throw Christian Bale's Batman in there either. They didn't have him in there.
I know, I get that, but he's the longest running Flash, 9 seasons, and he's not even come on.
That's true. Well, remember, they did throw him a solid. They let Ezra go on his show though. So, they did something.
Is it the CW one? You don't
CW? Yeah. So I think, hey, listen, my impressions of the Flash film, I thought Michael Keaton stole the movie. I think everybody that went to go see that movie, hoping that Flash was going to be like the star of the movie, I'll be honest with you, I didn't give a fuck what Ezra was saying. I didn't care. It didn't mean a goddamn thing to me. I wanted to see Keaton hop in his Batmobile, getting that fucking Batwing.
Let me ask you, did you feel like that because of his off-screen antics? Is that why you felt like that?
I think I felt like that because I don't like his interpretation of Flash. He makes him real goofy. Like the Flash that he plays is kind of like the Wally West Flash, not the Barry Allen Flash. You know what I'm saying? I think he got his Flashes fucked up, because the Bart Flash, the Flash that was Bart, Barry Allen, he don't play around like that. You know what I'm saying? So, that was like, I mean, he has the dark hair because the Wally West Flash has red hair. So, I thought that he's playing the wrong type of Flash. Like they had Lex Luthor in the Batman versus Superman acting like the Riddler to me.
That was crazy.
Yeah, I'm like, well, wait a minute. But then Snyder was like, well, that was Lex Luthor Jr. That wasn't really, Lex Luthor that we know, Superman's, main antagonist. So to me, get back on track here. I think Keaton stole the show. There is nothing, and the Rick means nothing, more beauty on the Rick's 42-year-old eyes than seeing that 1989 Batmobile, which is my favorite Batmobile. I would have loved to have them see it in action, but I did get to see the Batwing in action, and bro, talk about upgrades, bro. He makes Michael Keaton's Batwing that went down from a Joker 6-shooter look like a piece of shit. Like, bro, you see how the cockpit turns and all that? Bro, that fucking Batwing. Now, listen, I got to talk to these Warner Brother motherfuckers. Give Keaton listen, I get it. First of all, the Batman dude that you had, that skinny English guy, nah, we got to get rid of him. I can't do nothing with that. Not after I seen a guy in Keaton.
Who you talking about? You talking about
Matt Reeves?
Robert Pattinson?
Yeah, Pattinson. I can't. I don't need him. I'd rather have Keaton. I can't do that with that. Keaton.
I mean, I
come
agree,
on.
but he's aging out the role, Rick. He'll be more like a Batman Beyond type Batman.
Yeah, well,
you know what I mean? Like,
okay, then get bro,
anything out. Like he's
but
70 something, Rick. How
Yeah.
long you think he gonna be? He
well,
gonna last?
bro,
You know what
as
I mean?
long,
Pause.
bro, they got fucking Harrison Ford still playing Indiana Jones. He's 80 something years old. We'll figure it out. All I'm saying is Keaton's Batman is the shit, bro. He just something about Keaton. He doesn't need a voice analyzer to change his Batman voice. He's just fucking Batman. And that's
Rick,
what
this
makes
is
it
argument
great.
For me, I told you
Hey.
that 89 is my favorite. I love
Bro, he is
even Max City agrees with me that was the best Joker. So I'm sold on it. I agreed. Only problem I have is, like I said, he's aging out of it. He's not gonna be able to move like that anymore. Like,
But
who's
he
gonna
don't-
believe
but he
an
don't-
80 something year old gonna be
okay,
moving like
but
that?
he
You know
doesn't
what I mean?
have to. Hold
They
on.
had CGI already for
Bob,
the,
I'm
for the
about to
Flash
say.
movie.
I'm about to say.
Yeah,
hey,
I understand that.
But Deuce, you got to understand this. For all my Star Wars heads out there, and shout out to Thriller Ali. He said Henry Cavill was supposed to appear as Clark Kent towards the end. As the Flash came out, yeah, they got rid of him. And Dean came, he was all right. I mean, Hawaiian Superman looked a little crazy, but okay. But yeah, but listen, here's what I will say. We all those that love Star Wars, we all saw Darth Tyrannus, also known as Count Dooku, right? He was the best sword fighting Sith. And the guy that played him was 90 years old. Christopher Lee was almost 100 years old when he died. So he played Count Dooku. He was damn near in his 90s. And obviously they used a stuntman for that dude. So I think you can keep bro, the Keaton Batman finally got something that he wasn't able to get because those Batman movies were ahead of their time. He got CGI and it looked fucking good, bro. Like the gliding that Keaton was doing in this Flash movie as opposed to gliding off of that roof in Batman Returns, bro, is night and day. The Batwing, night and day. Like, yo, that shit was fire. Listen, I can't wait for the toys to come out. I can't wait. I'm gonna have
Honestly,
toys all over the place.
Honestly, I was a big fan of Supergirl. I wish she was in more of the movie. I didn't like how, I felt like they hyped her up to like she was going to be one of the main cast members, but she wasn't in as much of the movie as Michael Keaton and Ezra. So that was my only thing. I wish I could have saw more of her, but unfortunately they didn't. And I feel like that was Michael Keaton's swan song. So they let him go off into the sunset with that movie. I gave that movie like a 7, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I gave it. Me too. I gave about a 7.5. I mean, and again, I cannot believe in Ezra Miller's Flash character. I just can't. I think I think the movie bombing is both a gift and a curse. I think because the movie bombed, we can now get a new Flash actor. Because if the movie set out in here and made $1 billion, you got to keep the son of a bitch. You can't get rid of him. You got to keep him. Now, I am sour grapes that they're taking Affleck out of there. I would have loved to see Affleck and Keaton in the, playing Batman at one time. Or if they made Keaton's Batman be Thomas Wayne instead of Bruce Wayne. And, if they made it how the Flashpoint paradox was, where, it was because Bruce got killed, that turned Thomas Wayne into Batman. Like, I thought that would have been cool as hell, too, if Keaton was Thomas Wayne. And then you have something where Flash in another movie would come back and he would get Thomas Wayne. And then you would have Bruce Wayne fighting together. And he was like, oh, that's my father. So you become Batman. I think that shit would have been fly as hell if you put that on camera, where Thomas Wayne as Batman and Bruce Wayne as Batman in the same universe because some crazy shit happened because of Flash. I thought that would have been hype. But, I mean, look, I don't think it was.
Thriller Ali just said on the last comment.
He said they cut a lot of Supergirl's fight scenes because they were too violent and would give the Flash an R rating. They probably should have went for that, Thriller. Think about this. I believe that
was Joker. Joker did $1 billion from
yes,
with
yeah, bro.
They're too scary nowadays, bro. We like violence sometimes.
Yes, you heard the phrase. Fuck them kids. You got to listen, bro. Look, R rating to me through Ali means nothing, and I'll tell you why. Fucking RoboCop was rated R. This motherfucker was shooting everybody. This nigga had a toy line in a cartoon for years. Like, bro. Like, that R rating don't mean nothing, bro.
Everybody too soft now, bro. Everybody too
No,
soft
man,
now,
RoboCop was killing dudes. Like, bro, no, I don't think RoboCop had a pair of handcuffs. He killed everybody. He ain't never bought, that nigga RoboCop ain't never bought nobody into custody and read them their rights. One, Clarence Boddicker, that was it. Everybody else got shot. And I mean, like, dude, it wasn't no justifiable shot. If you a cyborg, you should be able to shoot a dude in the leg so he can't run or something. Nah, he's going for the dome and the chest. Like, bro, he's double tapping these niggas out here. So RoboCop, violent as hell, got toys, got a cartoon. Bro, sometimes, you can be a R-rated superhero movie. Deadpool, Deadpool, Joker. Like, bro, shit happens. Logan, yes. And that was a good damn movie. Like, I don't know why. Bro, look, half these kids that go see these movies, they done opened their parents' bedroom door and seen some shit they didn't want to see anyway. So look, just let them rock, bro. The R-rated movies can make money. Yes, Thriller Ali, RoboCop is the man. Drop it! My man, when my man pulled the gun out at him, he hit RoboCop. He's think it over, creep. Blah, blah. That gun, boom. Man, that shit just sounded fly, bro. And he got a cartoon. A gun. Bro, matter of fact, I forgot about this. Not only did RoboCop have a cartoon series, a toy line that was successful, the motherfucker had a series. RoboCop the fucking series. And it didn't really let him shoot nobody too much, but like, you know what he would do? He would shoot like a fire escape and it will fall down on the guy, or he'll shoot the car tire and the car flip over. You know what I'm saying? Something like that.
You also talking about a different time though, Rick? Because remember, you talking about back in the 90s? Like
RoboCop's the 80s dude.
Everything. We all sensitive right now, so that's the reason why what Thriller Ali is saying is accurate. But it still throws me off because it's like you just mentioned Deadpool, you mentioned Logan, the Joker. These movies were successful, and they were comic book movies, and they were R-rated. So personally, if you're telling me that we would have better fight scenes, I'm all for the. I can't wait for the DVD to drop because I'm ready to see all them fight scenes.
The fight scenes, I think you'll be there, but I don't think you'll see Henry in there. I think they're not going to let that be in the director's cut, But, I mean, look, some things worked in the Snyderverse. I mean, they ain't bringing Cyborg back. He was fighting with the whole studio for like fucking 10 years on Twitter. So that ain't going to happen. You're never going to see my man come back. Ben Affleck, he looked very, very old in this movie. Affleck looked damn near as old as Keaton in this movie. He didn't look young. Like his face was all sagging and shit. I'm like, well, maybe this time. Because up until I saw Keaton with the CGI, Ben Affleck was my favorite Batman.
Yeah, and you know what? I agree. It was 1 and 2 for me.
It was, and you know why though? Deuce, it's because that Batman that Ben Affleck was basically based on the Arkham fighting style from the fucking video games, and that's why we loved it because we're gamers. So
Batman v Superman did it for me, because I always loved Keaton, and then when I saw Batman v Superman, I was like, oh my, that movie did it for me.
Bro, when my man ripped the doors off of that Batmobile and that motherfucker said, "Do you bleed?"
Do you bleed?
I was like, and Superman heard him because he got super hearing, so he wasn't scared of him. He looked that motherfucker straight in the face. He said, "Do you bleed?"
Was practicing James Gunn and Coon on Twitter.
Oh man, bro, yeah, he's done. Like you never see, Ray Fisher done. They're gonna find. I don't know what they're gonna do. I mean, here's what I want them to do though. If they're gonna do it, start it from the ground up.
That's it. That's exactly
start
what
it from the ground up.
For.
Fix the job.
Basically, chat. That was the whole reason for Flash, the Flash movie. They wanted to reboot the DC universe. They're still keeping some people in place, but I guess they're gonna explain it by
Gal Gadot can do no wrong. They're gonna keep her. They're gonna keep Aquaman because the women love him first. And to this date, Aquaman is the biggest box office of all the DC movies. So
dang, for real,
they ain't gonna get rid of him. And they did my nigga Black Manta dirty though. I mean, damn, that was my dude though. I like Black Manta. Black Manta. I got his statue right here in my living room, bro. That's my dude right there. Black Manta.
But you know what, Rick? You know what? They're not gonna get rid of Jason Momoa, but I heard they are gonna get rid of Aquaman and make him what's the nigga name? Lobo. They're gonna make him Lobo.
I don't know if that. Well, maybe they'll explain that Flash did it and that's what happened. I don't know. I mean, a lot of people forget.
Is George Clooney gonna be Batman?
No, fuck no. Get his ass.
No,
they said it's gonna be a new guy, and for Superman too, they're getting new, younger. I tell you what though, if they get a Superman up in here, and we're about to close the show, if they get a Superman up in here that looks as skinny as that motherfucking Batman Pattinson, I'm done. I ain't going to see nothing. I get up.
So hold on. So have you been watching the Superman show? Superman and Lois.
No, I have not been watching that. Absolutely not.
Because I was going to ask you, what's your thoughts on him? Because he's not a hulky bulk type dude.
Then you know what? I don't want to fucking see him. Get him up out of here. You can't bring in a guy that's like fucking Henry Cavill, who's fucking jacked to the fucking ceiling, that made Superman's body believable. Like, okay, motherfucker from Krypton, he can throw, he can pick up the Statue of Liberty. All right, that's believable. Can't no scrawny ass, little skinny ass. Listen, if I can get up at 5 a.m. and go to the gym every morning, so can these motherfuckers who get paid to fucking act. Fuck that. So I want to, dude, work out. Okay.
But I ain't gonna lie. What Parker said is true though. That show, I think Parker said it. That show is a good show. So
it's a good show too. Like,
listen, Smallville was a good show. Remember that? I don't know why they stopped it. Smallville was a great show.
Oh, Smallville.
Tom Welling said he didn't want to put on the suit. Tom Welling said he didn't want to put on the suit.
Well, he didn't have nothing to do with that. Here's what happened. Here's why Tom Welling.
No, he did. No, he said he wasn't.
Okay.
He wasn't.
Well, he's saying that, but he was never going to be able to put on a suit. You know why? Because
I know they were having contracts.
I'll tell you that. Who's the dude that did this the Dark Knight trilogy? I keep forgetting his name. He made
Nolan.
And that's the same reason why you couldn't see Batman come on Smallville, is because Nolan was in control of the Batman character, and they got all this multiverse shit going on. Nolan said, no, if I'm working on Batman, I do not want Batman showing up on Smallville and anywhere else. No Bruce Wayne's, none of that shit. So that's what he did. Now, if anybody that remembers anything, he was originally going to write Man of Steel. He was, I think he was the producer of Man of Steel. So that's why he didn't want Tom Welling putting on a Superman suit, because Smallville was running at the time he was writing. He said, I don't want nobody else putting on capes, boots, and the rest of that stuff. So what Tom Welling might be true, but there was also something else behind that of him not putting on the cape and stuff. So, I mean, at the end, they used CGI, the last episode. Oh, God, it was so awful. Like, bro, let's be honest. Smallville died when they took Lex off the show. Once Lex was gone.
They didn't take him off the show. He actually left for health reasons. He had back problems. That's why he left the show. So it wasn't like it was like,
with that working, Mac.
Yeah, it wasn't like there was any beef or anything. They just he had a lot of back issues, so that's why he left the show.
Well, hey, listen, if you're gonna start Superman over, you got to make Rosenbaum Lex Luthor. You just do it. Just make him.
I don't know about that, because they said that it's gonna be a younger, like year 3 Superman. So I don't think with him being up in age that it's gonna work. I feel like you're gonna need 2 young actors.
Well, let him be Lionel Luthor. That was a good character in Smallville. Lionel Luthor.
Oh yeah.
Yo, that dude was the man. Yo, Lionel Luthor. Yeah, that was tough right there. Damn. So much we want to get into, y'all, but we've run over our limit, our time. We only really supposed to have an hour show. So thoughts on anybody? I gave the Flash movie, I gave it a 7.5. I didn't feel bad about it. I thought Keaton stole the show. Parker said he didn't see it yet. Manhattan's got his mic muted. Nico, what'd you think?
I give it a 5 out of 10, man.
5? Damn, Nico, big mad. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was a couple inconsistencies, man. Like, for example, like, did y'all forget when he got punched out the Time Dome? He acted like he didn't see who did it. Like, that was weird to me. And then Supergirl got stabbed, and she just died from that. And one more thing, I was a little irritated about it. When Flash lost his powers, like when he got electrocuted with Dude, I'm like, when you keep your powers, like, why you just lose them though?
Yeah, well, the same thing happened in Flashpoint Paradox. Now, here's what I wouldn't understand here, which was funny. Now, Batman, as smart as he is, right? Why wouldn't Batman fucking say, you know what? I can get me some super fast speed powers here, and and everybody, let's shock ourselves so we can get super speed. Why? Why? Think about it. If that's how he's getting super speed by getting himself electrocuted, then goddamn it, I got to line up the whole squad and say, hey, look, we all need to get shocked today so we can all get this power with these chemicals. And I didn't like the way they made that so simple. Like, basically, you get shocked with a few bottles of amino acids hanging around, and then you're gonna have fucking super speed. No, you got to put that one back in the oven too. But hey, I look, 5 out of 10. Listen, you got to bring it up to a 6. I bought Spider-Man up to a 9. You know,
Nah.
come on, man. I gave it a
Alright,
yeah.
six.
Come on, let's give it a 6.
I did enjoy the fights. The 2 Batman scenes were good. Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I enjoyed those scenes. Yeah.
Yeah. That was cool. But again, they went with the clowning around. You know, Batman holding the freaking lasso and talking and this and that. Like, come on, man.
That was like.
And I think they made, to me personally, they made Batman speak. Now, look, when he's Bruce Wayne, he's going to talk strategy, this and that. When he's Batman, he don't really say shit. And they, they got him talking up here like he's motherfucking like on a panel. I'm like, oh, listen. Batman, he's man a few words, bro. You don't listen. And that's what I like, the fact that Flash touched on that. He's like, hey, in our universe, our Batman's our strategist. He's he's this, he's that. Yeah. That's kind of what he was letting them know. That's our Batman. But you an old motherfucker that was beating people up with a broomstick. So, hey.
Manhattan, did you see the movie Manhattan? And if you did, what did you give it?
I didn't watch the Flash.
I didn't see it yet.
Well, look who showed up.
Better late than never.
That's true. I say that too. Back in the day when you were scared if a girl didn't get a period. I hear to say that. Better late than never.
Flash impressions. Is that what y'all talking about?
Yeah, we was talking about Flash. Did you see it?
No.
Okay, well, as part of your duties of controlling 3 shows now, we're going to need you to start watching these comic book movies when the movie come out. Yes. So, that being said, I believe, what movie's coming out this week? I don't know.
I know Ninja Turtles is coming out soon, but I don't remember when it's coming out.
Yeah. So so you're gonna have to listen. Now, Levon, I don't know how it is in Wisconsin. If you don't want to go to the theater, I suggest you find a black barbershop that might have the bootleg versions of the movies on it.
They still got bootlegs? Goddamn.
Yeah, bro. Listen, DVDs ain't never gonna die, bro. Because everybody ain't got internet. Motherfuckers, cable company cut your shit off, bro. You gonna need motherfucking DVD. So that DVD always gonna be there. So listen, shout out to the chat, Mac City. Mello is Little Rodney's son, Thriller Ali, my man, Briadios was here. He came through, showed some love. Videli came through and showed love. Isaiah, troublemaking ass, came through. God tier greatness, who is a panel member, but I believe the brother's taking care of business right now. Well, anybody else that joined us, hit the like button, subscribe if you're not subscribed. We're going to be doing this every Sunday. Okay?
Happy Father's Day to the chat and the panel, too.
Facts. Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to you, Deuce, and everybody. I think me and you the only fathers on the panel. I mean, y'all young niggas don't know how to fuck. Yeah, y'all don't know how to fuck. Come on, man. Oh, shout out to Mellow Little Rodney's son. Thanks for the sub, brother. Hey, we gonna do this every Sunday we gonna have our comic book movie show. Tuesdays we gonna have the Save Point, which the Save Point is gonna be a mixture of both shows. The Save Point will be just regular news, mostly gaming news, but anything else that has happened or to move the needle to make us talk about it. And the arcade speaks for itself. That's strictly gaming on that front. So, hey, we're going to see y'all on Tuesday. Thanks for coming through.
Before you end it, guys, that new Disney Plus show coming out this Wednesday. So that might be a topic for next week. So
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Disney Plus, catch up on that with the Sam Jackson and all that. I don't remember the name. I'm sorry.
Secret Invasion.
Fury. Secret Invasion.
Yeah, there you go. Secret Invasion on Disney Plus.
Oh, look at that. Deuce is putting in work already. Look at that. Nah, it's a Disney Plus series.
It's a series. So,
bro, look at that. Deuce is putting in. Look at that. My man Deuce came up, wanted to do the show in Parker, and here we are. And we got poor little Levon who don't know nothing about comics. He's like, man, these niggas is pushing me around through this shit. So you, Parker. Yeah, so,
I'm saying everybody. Who's watching that Secret Invasion?
Well, you are now. Everybody in the panel. Yeah, that's our. You know what? Like I do on the arcade, everybody gets a homework assignment, and a homework assignment is Secret Invasion. That's everybody's homework stuff. So that's gonna be a topic already. Levon, you already know for the comic show. Ty will be into. Ty's doing Father's Day stuff. So we'll be these are Mello's Little Rodney's son. These are permanent panel members, bro. This is our panel. The only one you don't see is Ty. He'll be up here, but yeah, this is our crew. This is our crew. This is the Justice League, motherfucker. Yeah. I guess Levon's the Martian Manhunter and shit. You know what I'm saying? He's running the portals and shit. Get everybody, hey Ty, the show's ending, brother. Ty said be there in 10 minutes. Yeah, the show's over, bro. It's Father's Day. The Rick's got to go take care of business. You know what that means.
Oh,
So
so like everybody can just drop their link.
yeah, everybody drop your link in there and in the chat. Give us all a sub. We all work together. We working hard now. There was somebody on the panel that said we need to be doing more shows. We need to be doing more stuff. That's all right, Ty. It's Father's Day, brother.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah. So somebody kept saying do more shows. Here we are. Shout out to Nico for coming through, Manhattan, and Deuce for coming through. These are our new panel members. They look. Once you're a panel member, you can rock out whatever show you want to. So, you know, it is what it is. So that's what's that. Appreciate out to the new brothers coming through, Nico and Deuce. Parker, you know, the veteran, Levon, he came through. But hey, listen, Levon deserved the day off. I get it. You know, we be working Levon hard out here, man. You know, yeah, I don't know what he gonna tell his girlfriend. You know, you gotta tell her you got shit to do. But all right, fellas, everybody, thanks for rocking out, and we'll see y'all on Tuesday.